y'all feeling, family? Y'all feeling good? Let me know when y'all ready to go.
Let's get this thing kicked off.
Hey, look at this thing rolling.
All right.
Baby. Hey, the people on
we got some shares. Y'all come on, share this thing for us. Let's push it. Because it's Wealth Building Wednesday, right?
Absolutely.
Wealth Building Wednesday. And we're going to talk about breaking some generational curses. So we're going to get this thing rocking and rolling and kicked off here.
Let's do it.
So y'all about ready? Y'all about ready? Y'all about ready? Y'all about ready?
For sure.
Hey,
all right, Mr. Blair, you know we're in the same house. There you go. So I'm super excited. Listen, I don't know about y'all. We're going to kick things off here. And if you're here with us, go ahead and let us know you're here. I see Mr. Johns, you're all in. Thank you so much. Go ahead, give this thing a like, give it a share. Somebody can use this information because we're going to drop some real knowledge on this evening. I see Mr. P. Scott, thank you so much. I see AC, thank you so much, guys. And of course, guys, I'm thankful that you're here with us. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting on here, but we made it. We wanted to stick to our promise. But of course, we got some very serious topics that we're going to talk about this evening. We wanted to get together as a family first and foremost, because we're stronger together. First, we already know that we're stronger together. And we just wanted to talk to the people just a bit about some things that we've been talking about. And we definitely wanted to share. So before I get started, I want to go around the horn and let everybody really introduce themselves. But really before we kick this thing off, and it'll let me get started here and let me get myself together as a moderator. So I don't know where y'all want to start, Bam Fam, but y'all got it.
All right, well, I guess I'll start off. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
All right, so everybody, Blair here. Just give you a little bit of my background. I am a nurse by day. I work full time. And really and truly, we're here to talk about generational wealth. So my background, like I said, I started out as an LVN, trying to, make anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 every 2 weeks during that time. And what I found is that I was working tireless hours, anywhere from 6 a to 6 p. Monday through Friday. I was in home health. I was driving, so that was wear and tear on my car on a weekly basis. And then also during that time, it was a time at one point where the gas prices were up, right? So what I decided to do is, what came around was that we had some Medicare cuts that happened. And of course, when Medicare cuts happen, they cut hours. When hours are cut, then of course your income is cut. So what I did was I got my RN. I got into insurance, got out of home health, started doing insurance, processing authorizations, moved up in that company to management. Then I realized the higher that you move up in a company, the more politics there is that you have to deal with, right? And the less it is about the employees. So guess what? I stepped down from that position. And when I stepped down from that position, it was around that time that I was introduced an opportunity. And that's been almost 5 years ago. It'll be 6 years in February coming up. Introduced to an opportunity where at the time I got into the opportunity only because I was trying to clear a $12,000 to $13,000 debt. Did that in under 1 year at that time. And then I realized, hey, this is not only about a side hustle. This is also about building a legacy and a future for my family, something I can pass on to my kids. So what I did at that point in time is I started sharing it with others to also help them on a path to financial freedom, which is something that I found that the opportunity was more than just, a side hustle. And guess what? It's been up ever since.
Ooh-wee.
Man, like game books. I gotta come behind that. I gotta go behind that. I didn't let Ray go behind that. Hey, but no, as my wife said, like, that's my wife right there, Keon Blair. We came to Texas, San Antonio, Texas back in 2004. I have a sales background. I managed at Champ Sports as my wife was going through nursing school. Actually, I had 2 jobs, managed at Champ Sports and worked at the electronics store called Cons. So I had a sales background. In between that time, after she got done with school and stuff like that, I dabbled into other things, and I ended up getting into the insurance realm, which I worked at Humana for about 4 years, from like 2011 to 2015, 2016. Dealing with Medicare, kind of like some of the same stuff my wife deal with. On one side, authorization, I get the people in the plan, she do the authorizations or whatever. But what happened was, like you said, we were presented with an opportunity along the way. And at some point you get to the point where it's something more for you.
Right.
And when the opportunity was presented to us on that day, you have some, anytime you make a business decision, you always have a sense of hesitation to it. But I never forget, going down the road to Galveston to my daughter's cheer competition. My cousin called me. He said, "Hey man, what you gonna do? You in or you out?" Just that simple. And those are the tough conversations that a lot of people don't want to have with family, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. And once again, like I say, Rosamond Blair, have insurance background right now. I do my business full time, and I'm ready to get started on with you guys and talk to you guys today. Let's go.
Man, I am loving this. This is a long time coming, guys. First of all, I want to salute each of you guys for, taking the challenge and being out here with us. But for all the listeners, guys, I am Remus Blair Sr. I look at myself as the blue-collar entrepreneur. My story is very, very short. I was one of those individuals who started off, was told to go get a job, get an education, go to college, and work and do the things that you want to do, live out your dreams. Honestly, guys, I did that. But I became honestly a college dropout, and I dropped out of college because it just wasn't for me. And I took the rim of going to corporate America. I went and got a trade. I started my family. We did some amazing things. Started entrepreneur kind of early, but did not understand entrepreneurship at that time, honestly. But what I did was, guys, I jumped into the corporate America field because, again, this is where everybody told me that I should have a job that should take me 40 years to make sure that I can have a great life savings in the realm. But what I did was I became a corporate America dropout as well. And what I mean by that is, guys, I decided to say that corporate America wasn't for me. Now, it's a love-hate relationship with myself and corporate America because, again, it did do some amazing things for me and my family, but I wanted more. I honestly wasn't and did not understand generational wealth, but it was dropped into my lap. I wasn't looking for it. I wanted it, but I wasn't looking for it. And when it was dropped into my lap, I had to do some different things. And here we are today, now trying to help other people understand what generational wealth is. So again, when you hear myself, you hear the other Blairs, and now you're going to hear from my dynamic wife, this is what our stories look like. And again, it's not something that's over the top. A lot of times people hear stories and they hear the great things, but they don't hear what the things had to come about. So the individuals had to understand where they got the success from. So I'm going to drop this thing right there and I'm going to push it over to Miss Alicia, my better half.
Hey, y'all. So I am Alicia Dion, or Alicia Blair. Essentially, I'm a nurse by trade. Guys, I've always made decent income. Every job that I've went into, I always negotiated my salary. I worked for one of the largest durable medical equipment companies actually in the world. I was a clinical nurse manager at that particular position. Shouldn't have had that job. But of course, when people seek you out, when you do a good job, of course, you're afforded some opportunities. And I was afforded a great opportunity that I thought I was going to actually retire from. But of course, companies, they ain't loyal. I'm going to just tell you, they ain't loyal. Chris Brown said it. They ain't loyal. Essentially, my company started to downsize, guys. And all of that income that I was earning, all of those amazing bonuses that I was earning, I found my job on the chopping block as well. I actually walked into my job one day, had one of the best teams in the building, and anybody who knows me, and some of my nurses are actually on my team, they know we had 2 fire teams. We did so well that they gave me another team and said, Alicia, whatever you're doing with your team, you need to do it with this one. And we actually turned that thing around. We were saving the company millions and millions of dollars, but it didn't stop them 4.5 years ago, guys, from walking my butt out that door. All that money, all that income, all those bonuses, they were not thinking about my family. So I found myself being involuntary retired. Involuntary, meaning they fired my butt. right? They kicked my butt on out the door. So essentially, we had an opportunity. We were not working it like we should have been. First and foremost, we were taking it lightly because we were making some decent income. But I found myself having to decide, would I go back into corporate America at an entry-level position, because I knew I was not going to get the salary that I was getting at that particular job. And I'm going to tell you, at this particular point, I was about 9 to 10 years into nursing. I wasn't going back. I had done my time. I wasn't going back to wipe no butts. I wasn't going back to be on the floor. I wasn't pushing no pills. So we had to make a decision. Were we going to go back into corporate America, or were we going to run with this opportunity? We decided to run with the opportunity. And at about, I would say, guys, about 6 months, we had turned that thing around. And I'm really happy to say that my salary from the opportunity, or not even my salary, what we were earning from the opportunity, it not only met my salary as a clinical nurse manager, it actually surpassed it. So essentially, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And that's why we're here really with you guys, to really talk about building some wealth, some generational wealth opportunity. And essentially what we should be talking about this particular Thanksgiving, around that Thanksgiving Zoom or at that Thanksgiving table, whatever it is that you're doing. And I just want to go ahead and kick things off, because each of these people, they have some amazing stories. So what I want to ask you, I want to go to Rosamond Blair. When we talk about generational wealth, what comes to mind when you actually hear this term? Because a lot of people are not talking about it. Mm-hmm. And it's not because they don't want to talk about it. Many people don't know about it, and they don't even know where to start. So that's going to be the question for the panel to really, really get us kicked off. When you hear that term, what is it that you think about?
That's a good one. Personally, when I hear generational wealth, first thing comes to mind is some individuals. I think of the Bob Johnsons, Oprah Winfrey, Magic, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Sam Walton, Jeff Bezos, Reed Hastings, and, Percy Miller. You think of those individuals like that, that's what your generation is about. Their efforts will take care of their children, great-grandchildren for generations to come. And a lot of times we don't put ourselves in position to obtain generational wealth, because in the normal households, that's a conversation that nobody want to have. We'll have the conversation about, like Raymond talked about, going to, business degree, whatever you're gonna come out with, what you can live on anyway. And we have to start having those generational wealth conversations in order for generational wealth to even be in the realm of happening. So it started with the conversation, and that's what's not happening in a lot of, and it definitely didn't happen when we was youth, in our youthful days or whatever. We definitely missed out on that conversation or whatever. We're trying to have it right now, and 35 plus having this conversation. Because I think of sometimes, if I knew what I know now at 24 years old when I was working at Champs, if I knew that then, whoo, man. So the number one thing, first and foremost, you got to start having a generational wealth conversations to understand what that can do for a great grandkid that you don't even know nothing about. That's how the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and people like that, because they got generational wealth. It wasn't just about, oh, me, I made this $250,000 or $400,000, whatever it is a year for myself, and you okay with how you're living throughout your 50, 60, 70 years of your life, but don't worry about those grandchildren or those nieces. Even if you don't got a kid, leave it. You might have a niece or a nephew that can continue the generational wealth, whether that's a storefront or whatever it may be. But don't just be so selfish about what you can do while you're living, and don't set something up for you can pass to generations.
Absolutely. And I want to go to your better half. I know you guys are in the same household, you're having the same conversation, but when you hear that particular phrase, generational wealth, what is it that you think about?
So for me, I think about passing something on to your children's children, their children. And for me, I know Ross named like the Rockefellers, the Waltons, and all of that. So what came to my mind and me thinking about today is think about the Kardashians. Now, I don't care how their name blew up. I don't care. But Kim set the bar, right? So Kim set that bar, but look at what she's done for her sisters.
Yes.
Now, when you also talk about generational wealth, we're also talking about multiple streams of income. I'm quite sure we'll get into that as well.
Right.
But let's think about their multiple streams of income that they have that has created that wealth. They're in beauty, they're in clothing, they're in reality TV, and a bunch of other things that they're in as well. So you look at that and what Kim started, and then now you fast forward to the youngest sister, which is Kylie Jenner, whose net worth is now almost equal to Kim's at 900 million.
Right.
So we need to be the Kardashian, the Kim Kardashian that's going to pass that information on so that we set our entire family up for the future. It's not like I think Ross just said too, it's not fun when it's just you making the money. But when you have your entire family making money, that's great too. And then guess what? I don't want to be the only one that has some money, because then when you're the only one, who people come to? Just you.
Right. Yep.
So that's my take on generational wealth.
That's absolutely amazing. We ain't doing no videos out here, Keon, but we need an OnlyFans. Wait a minute. We can't be out here in these streets like that. But I understand what you're saying. Kim K definitely set it up for her family. And I was going down to my better half. When you hear that phrase generational wealth, what is it that you think about?
Man, look here, y'all something else. But I love the way that the Blairs went. I'm gonna kind of go the opposite way. When I hear generational wealth, I hear the word knowledge. I also hear the word prosperity. I also understand that the people who acquire generational wealth, they filed the information, what they learned. They filed what they learned, I must say, meaning that they don't have a file cabinet full of notes. What they did was they took what they learned and they sold it into their hearts. Because anything that you feel is worth having, anything that you feel is worth going after, you're going to file it into your heart. Because what happens is that means that you're going to have a sacred place so that you can understand that knowledge has to have a place that you can always touch it and you can go out there and go get it. So when I hear generational wealth, I understand that people took action. They didn't sit back. They didn't have a wishful mindset. They did have a go get it mindset, and nothing was going to get in their way, because they understood that it wasn't about today, but it's more about tomorrow. And they understood that whether they were in the picture of tomorrow or not, they had people that bear the exact same last name as them. So they wanted those individuals, whether it was their children or their grandchildren, as Roscoe stated, it's somebody that's coming down in their lineage that they understood was more important than them. And the day that they were standing their feet in, they understood that, look, I have to do more. So generational wealth is just that. It's about understanding where you are today, but understanding where you want to be tomorrow. Back to you, Ms. Alicia.
Absolutely. And I have to go with Rosterman. When I hear generational wealth, I'm thinking about the Kennedys, I'm thinking about the Waltons, I'm thinking about the Rockefellers, but I'm also hearing the term old money when we talk about generational wealth. And it's quiet, it's not flashy at all. But here's the thing. I also, when I hear generational wealth, I hear influence. Right? I hear influence. It builds communities, first and foremost. And not only that, it influences political decisions and policy making. So when we can influence policy with generational wealth, that's a different ball game. And that's what we're trying to get to, right? That's where we're trying to get to, where our money speaks for us, even if we're not in the room, right? So with the generational wealth, we begin to talk about legacy, right? We really get to talk about legacy. And Mr. Blair, I have to go to you first, my better half. When you talk about legacy, or when you hear legacy, what does that mean for you, and what does that mean for your family?
Ms. Alicia, I have five letters for you that's going to make up one word: Blair. That word means a lot. That name means a lot. Legacy means, again, as I stated earlier, is that it's bigger than me. What am I leaving behind? Whether it's income, whether it's property, what is it that I'm going to leave behind when I'm long gone? You know, as of today, you know, we've been blessed with a grandchild, first grandbaby. And my whole thing is now is it always was about our children, but now it's about our grandchildren. Who's going to come behind that one individual? What are they going to say when Remus as a grandfather or a great grandfather, what are they going to say? You know, you think about for us where we come from, we all say that we come from humble beginnings, which is more like poverty, right? You know, you understand that we didn't have anything. For myself, I never knew my grandparents. And it's not the fact that I don't know their names. I don't know, you know, the lineage of my family. It's the fact that my grandparents didn't leave anything. They didn't have anything to leave. So guess what? I don't really know the history behind what it was or who they were. So my thing is, how do I change that? I have to put something into place so that if I do go leave this earth, that my grandchildren or my great grandchildren can have my picture above their mantle and say, look, that's my great grandfather. This is what he left. He left what it is that where we're standing right now. What we have today is because of the action that he took. That's legacy. Again, it's all wrapped in, property is all wrapped in income. What are you doing for the people that's coming behind you? Back to you.
Absolutely. And I'm going to piggyback on what you said for just a minute. And most times when we hear the word legacy, we think about financial legacy, but financial is more than just financial legacy. You can leave a nest egg for your heirs, but you have to leave more than that financial piece for them. You got to leave the knowledge, the skills, and the know-how to manage that financial piece, because essentially you can leave it and they can blow it. So when I talk about legacy, it's not just the financial piece, it's the knowledge that you equipping your people with so they don't lose it, that they continue to grow it. And I'm going to go over to the female fire. When you hear that word legacy, what does that mean for you?
Just kind of piggybacking off what you and Remus have already said, it is leaving something so that your heirs can remember you by. And the thing is when you're leaving it, like you said, they have to have the knowledge to know how to keep it. And I think I was reading something here a couple of days ago that said 80% of the second generation lose it. So what good is that you pass something down to your heirs when they don't even know how to keep it? They start, investing in different things. They don't know what they're investing in. But if they had that knowledge that you pass down to keep that financial security, then of course they all can be in a better place. Now, guys, I do have some other stuff as far as an article that talks about how you can create generational wealth. And if, you guys want it, we'll all have it, but just drop article in the comments on either of our feeds that we have right now going, #article, I should say. But it talked about 4 ways, and one of those ways that they talked about that was creating multiple streams of income. And as I just stated, something that Kim Kardashian is doing with her family is she's showed them how to create multiple streams of income. So those are things that when we're creating generational wealth, make sure that they have the knowledge, make sure they know how to keep it, and of course, save it and invest it into other ventures.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go on down to your better half, Rosamond Blair. What does that word legacy mean for you?
Man, legacy to me, it means a lot. It really means the impact that someone make, while they're living, that, will still hold, enough weight, once they have transitioned. Like, for instance, like, I'm crazy, me and Remus were crazy about our uncle. We can go to Birmingham, we can run people in San Antonio, Omegas all over the place or whatever, whether we in town or not. And people gonna know about James Blair, 6'4", and things that he did within the community and stuff. You think about legacy, you think of people like MLK, Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, Warwick Dunn. A lot of people don't know about the things that Warwick Dunn do in the community, giving all these single moms homes every year because his mom was shot as a police officer and he had to raise his sisters by himself. He's been doing this since his rookie year in the NFL and been carrying it out, and he's not even playing anymore. That's a legacy. You know how many families and people that you affect that once you dead and gone on, they still gonna have that. Maybe that house become the family house for 70, 80 years. That's the house that Warwick Dunn gave us, or whatever. And even like Nipsey Hussle, that's another person left a legacy. There's a lot of rappers that, and singers and artists that get killed and it's no legacy involved. this man did some things in his community that will last forever. STEM programs and things to help kids to get the knowledge, like people in Silicon Valley and stuff like that. That's next level stuff. That's a legacy that's going to live beyond you. So just like as we talked about the financial part that you can leave as well, but what you did, whether it's financial or not, that once you a transition, a person can still be like, man, that Maya Angelou, she was something special. She was something special. You know, so that's what I think of legacy.
Absolutely. And every one of you would be right. So when we're talking about generational wealth, we're talking about legacy. Why are so many families not attaining it? Why aren't we talking about legacy and generational wealth? We're talking about generational curses, right? So how do we break the generational curses? That's the next question on the panel. So Miss Blair, I'm gonna start with you. Where do we start in breaking these generational curses?
Well, it can start with you. So for me, for instance, I grew up single mom, 2 kids. My mom did, you know, and I was the first of some things. I was the first to be a homeowner. I was the first to venture outside of my home state and stay away from my home state. And so a lot of people, they don't want to do or be the first. We have some that, you know, they go and they say, I'm a product of my environment. So they feel like they're not going to move on from that or whatever. You have some that, like for instance, they say their kids will never ever venture outside of their state. Because I mean, I'm here I think in Texas, and of course you guys did a trip too, where some parents had never ever ventured outside of the state. So how is your kid going to even ever know anything outside of their culture and no other cultures if you're scared to fly?
Right.
So we get stuff like that as well. So my thing is if you're going to be the one to start those, to stop those generational curses and break those generational curses, then that needs to start with you. You need to start those conversations within your home first, and then we can talk about passing that on and, of course, creating that generational wealth for your family.
Absolutely. And I'm going downtown, down to Rastaman Blair. What about you? How do we get out of this thinking? How do we break these generational curses?
Man, that's a good one. You know, as Keon was talking, I thought about basically, I'm gonna say it's a song or whatever. It was a song for Steady Mob and the Master P, and I will never forget this verse. He said, "You got a mouth to feed, but you still want to hang in the street and smoke weed with the OGs." And if you're gonna break a curse, you can't be worried about doing the stuff that ain't gonna help you break the curse. A lot of people they live more for the bar and go shoot pool and then let's get together and have drinks in the garage, or let's play darts and whatever the case may be, more so than coming with that, using that same energy that you're gonna spend doing those things to having those conversations about money. You know, we run away from that money conversation. You know, we don't want to have that conversation with our kids. We can talk about everything else, the PS5, the Xbox One, and the new J's and the retro J's and all that stuff, but we won't. That's being a consumer. We'll talk to our kids. We'll show them how to be the best consumer ever. But can we show them how to be a merchant? So that's one of the things. The next thing is we got to ask for a refund on that 40-40-40 plan. We don't want it. We giving it back. We do not want it. I don't want the receipt better not say no exchange, no refund. We giving that thing back. We do not want that 40-40-40 plan. We giving that thing back.
Come on through.
all the way. And the next thing is, you know, put things in place that can help create, you know, generational wealth. Like, for example, a $500K to a $1 million life insurance policy. Something like that can start. That's how you get that storefront or whatever. You know, when Big Mama passed or somebody passed or whatever, we got that policy in place. Now, you know, we're gonna keep this thing going in Big Mama's legacy or Big Daddy's legacy or whatever. Also things like, you know, man, there's so many different things, man. When you think about generational wealth, it's just, it's just like, it's so many things that can be done that we don't do or whatever. And that's the way, like Keon said, start with just doing, you know, and that's the first thing. And I knew we was going to talk about, I wrote some notes down about generational wealth that I had wanted to go over. Let me see here, because I just want people to understand what it comes down to. Doing business together, for example, that's a big one. I said, think about all the individuals that told us no since 2014.
Yeah.
Imagine if those people said yes and we was moving as one.
Hello.
We would have multiple people making over 250K or more from the comfort of their home right now, going towards your generation, getting rid of that generational curse. So with that right there alone, if just more people would have just understood where we was coming from, trying to help, not trying to take, help. That's how you start. When the hand is reached out to you, grab it, and let's get on this bicycle together and go get this money.
That's called cooperative economics.
Yes,
absolutely.
Right. And Alicia, can I piggyback on what he was saying?
We're going down to my better half.
Alicia.
Yes, Steve.
Wow.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing that he said, and it struck a nerve. I said, oh, you know what? I gotta say something about that. And that was on insurance policies and how they can create generational wealth. I just had this conversation with my grandmother that's in her 70s on last month, and I was telling her, do you know that's how wealth was passed down initially? Was through insurance policies, but nowadays we have a lot of people that don't even have one. And she said, I didn't know that. I said, you can be here on this earth now. I said, and you cannot have anything to give your grandkids or your kids. I said, but when you pass away, that's something that can be passed on. You may not be here to see it, but they'll know that it came from you as a grandmother. And she said, well, I didn't know. I said, it's because these are conversations that we never, ever had. I said, but these are conversations that I'm having with my kids. And I told her how much we had as a family, me and Ross, and insurance. You know, we're building a business as well.
That's right.
But we also have something else. We have that insurance policy in place. So that's what I wanted to add to that, because a lot of people we see now don't have insurance. They own Facebook, no offense at all, but they're doing GoFundMe accounts and all of that. And I said, also think about these people. What if I was to pass away now? I have something to pass on to my kids. But what about people who don't have an insurance policy in place and their kids are left back here to suffer with somebody else taking care of them and they don't have the funds? And that's how you get a lot of kids that stray away, and they get, of course, how they say, I'm a product of our environment or whatever, but they stray away and they never get put on a straight path because of that.
And they get lost in the system.
Exactly.
That's what happens. Absolutely. Y'all killing it today, right? So Mr. Blair, we coming down to you, buddy. What you got to say? How do we break these generational curses?
You know, I love everything that Roscoe and Keon just spoke about. And what comes to mind to me is, y'all hear me always say that it's about mindset, first and foremost. You've heard me say a lot of times that a traditional mindset would keep you traditionally broke. And I say that because people have to get out of their own way. I heard Les Brown speak on yesterday, and he stated this, Miss Alicia. He said that one goose can fly 75% farther if they stay in formation outside of them flying solo. Think about it. Most people do not acquire generational wealth because we get out of alignment. It becomes a jealousy factor, right? And what I want people to understand is we also have to understand the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset, you don't grow. You're looking at all the negative things. You're looking at the challenges and you're telling yourself what you can't do. You're self-sabotaging yourself on a daily basis. A growth mindset understands that you got to continue stretching yourself, because the person that stretches themselves is the individual that's going to win in the long run. And understanding that life is nothing more than a daily stretch. You're stretching your mind. This is honestly why I feel like most individuals cannot acquire generational wealth. And it's the biggest one, again, is the fact that we get out of alignment. That's the one that the biggest killer. Because we're looking at it and we're saying, Miss Alicia, I don't want such and such to be here and I'm here, but understanding if it's all for the exact same name, we're all reaching the exact same goal. It's just that we all have to play our role. People don't want to play a role. And when you don't play your role, what happens is the entire family, the name, the family, wherever the ties to that family is what is going to be diminished. And that's the thing that keeps us from having generational wealth, in my eyes. Back to you.
Here's the thing for me, guys. So to break that generational curse, and I want y'all to stay with me. First and foremost, start with your job. Start with your job. And here's the thing, one thing we were not taught. We're taught, if you got extra money, save it, put it in the bank. But we were never taught to invest it. In your 20s and 30s, you should be investing just about everything that you have outside of your emergency fund. One thing we were not taught. So that's where we start. And Rossman, I'm like you with my notes. I got excited. The next thing, you got to have a legitimate side hustle. Even if you work in your 9 to 5, I don't care how good it is. I just told you, they kicked my butt to the curb and they did not think twice on my good job. And a lot of us out there, we got them good jobs that we love to post about on social media, right? We love to post about on social media, but the only thing they've given us through the pandemic is a pizza party. Hello, right? I'm gonna say it, right? So start with investing your money, get your emergency fund on your job, but invest that money. This is the second thing, get your legitimate side hustle. But your side hustle, here's the thing, and I know you guys may want to talk about this, you got to make sure you're not trading hours for wages or hours for profit. You got to have something that's bringing in you passive income, where you work a little now, you keep watering that thing just a little bit, and it keeps paying you dividends over and over and over and over. And here's the thing, how we break that generational curse, guess what? We got to have some residual income. We got to find the things that are going to bring us residual. That's the money you make when you do not work. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. The money you make when you do not work. And you may be wondering, Alicia, where they do that at? Drop info in the comments and we're going to show you where they do that at. And not only that, it's very important that we learn new skill sets. All of us over the past 5 years have learned new skill sets that we can take anywhere to earn any amount of money. I'm not scared of anything. I'm not scared of a pandemic because I have a specific skill set that if I needed to make $500, I know how to put that thing to work. And voila, there it is. Guys, 2020, what has it taught you? Remus Blair.
Wow, Miss Alicia, it's taught me numerous amounts of things. We're going to start with this pandemic that we all are in. First and foremost, I think Roscoe said it, the 40-40-40 club. For those individuals who may not know what that is, that's working or settling to work 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life and then accepting 40% of what someone else say that you are worth. And what we all should be looking at right now is the fact that it's people that has lost their jobs, right? During this pandemic, it's businesses that has closed down. And what most individuals may look at right now and say, well, when the pandemic is over, I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to make this amount of money. But there's nothing stating or really saying that any job or those businesses that you were working for is going to be there. And if you don't have a legitimate source of income that was coming in residually, what happens is you're going to be in a place of non-existence. And I wrote something down as well. And it says this, it said that 45.7 million Americans have filed for unemployment during the pandemic. Think about that. And it also stated that that's greater than 23 combined states population. So think about it, out of 50 states, 23 states combined almost are out of work. But the thing is, The question is, what are we doing about it?
Mm-hmm.
See, for most of us, we're being taken advantage of. This is something that I've learned. We're willing to be taken advantage of, meaning that the gifting loom, it comes about, we're okay with it because it says that we're going to make so much money in a short period of time. But the biggest thing that we always question and say is, I don't want to be in a scam. I don't want to be in a get rich quick scheme, right? But we're looking to get rich quick. Scam. We have to really take the blinders off, listen to the individuals who are really trying to empower us and take us to another level and show us something different, and not think that everybody is trying. We have to understand, if we can earn right now, if I can drop $1,000, you're going to tell me that you're going to give me $5,000 back in 2 weeks. Wouldn't everybody be? See, these are questions that we have to ask. These are things that I'm learning. And these are things that I want people to really put into perspective, because what we got to understand is that tomorrow isn't promised, first and foremost. We've all had some people that's affected by this pandemic. You know, we've had people that have, you know, it's a bad thing. But we're talking about continue to move forward. And we got to say, if this thing happens again, where are we going to be at? Where am I going to be at? Where's my family going to be at? And I'm not here to put anybody in a place of saying that, you know, I'm bragging, but I want to just say how blessed I am. I'm blessed that during this entire pandemic, I did not have to leave my house to make $1. I didn't have to leave my house. That means a lot to me because that allowed me to keep my family safe. But I want to teach other individuals how to do just that. How did I do that? It's not just for me, because I want to show other people how to learn. But the thing is, we have to take the blinders off. What I've learned in 2020 is that if we're not prepared going forward, and we're not looking at this as a state of emergency as within our own homes, then guess what? We're going to forever be in a place that we're in need of. Don't wait until the government says state of emergency. If your bank account right now does not say that it can take you 90 days or 3 months, 6 months without you bringing in additional income, you are in a state of emergency. And we have to operate differently. This is what I've learned. Who's willing to take the lesson and say, teach me, Miss Alicia, we can't operate in a state of, we cannot sit back and allow things not to manifest when it's all in our hands. Back to you.
And I see your cousin down here. He about to jump out of his seat. So I'm going to just go on over to him and see what he got to say. What has 2020 taught you? Come on, Blair.
Man, he hit on a lot of things that I was going to speak on as well. What 2020 really has taught me is, like Fabulous say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And that's a true statement. Because this has really shown you, you know, like he said, being able to stay at home and your bills are paid and everything, and you didn't have to go anywhere to make sure that bill was paid. That a lot of people, that's gonna go over some people's head, but that you don't understand how big that is. And that's something that we have been able to do during this pandemic. Another thing that this pandemic has showed me is some of the things that we learned along the way from between 2004 when we got here and to where we are now, that helps you don't have to, yes, like as far as the pandemic, yes, being able to socialize and hang out from time to time. Yeah, do you miss little stuff like that? Of course. You have a little barbecue or something, bring somebody over, yes. But I'm talking about the things that it really have helped us with. For instance, the having to go 4th of July shopping and buying Jordans and, you know, the Easter outfits and all the things like that to be so crazy about before we moved to Texas in 2004. The power bill or go get an outfit that kind of have prepped us for this pandemic, where, you know, we give a tale about a retro 3 or a retro 7 or whatever. Because for Juneteenth or more day, whatever that you got, we was good at our house. We weren't caring about the material things. So what I think, what I'm saying is, I appreciate the growth that we have had over the last 15 years being here in San Antonio, to get us out of the mindset that we once was crazy about. You remember how, because think about this. You see all the PS5 and the Xbox people posting and you probably got kids going to school bragging about stuff like that, which is, hey, each his own. But what a lot of those kids that they bragging to don't know, or the kid that's doing the bragging don't know, that mama in the other room with the power company trying to get an extension because she got your Xbox or because you got your PS5. See, that's the other side of the story. That's the other side of the story. You looking good in your outfit, mama on the phone with the man or the young lady in customer service trying to get an extension. Can she add that bill to next month's bill? Because she wanted to get you that comes back to breaking the curse. That's going back into breaking the curse. But my thing is, what this pandemic has shown me is that stop going for the fugazi. Stop going for the fugazi. Be prepared. Because, like Reem was talking about the gifting looms. Okay, I just saw a presidential race that had 75 million for one man, 69 million for another man. If the gifting looms that well, y'all ain't went through no 200 million people. Why the gifting loom still? Why they ain't still being posted? Why 200 still can't give me 800 no more? if that's the deal, they just all of a sudden they stopped. So listen, man, when somebody giving you a valuable opportunity, take a look at it, take advantage of it. Don't be fugazi. And what this pandemic has shown me is about being ready and being able to adapt. If you can't adapt, you're gonna lose every time. You gotta be able to switch it up. And I'm gonna throw it back to you, Alicia.
Absolutely. He said it, I didn't. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this before I throw it to Keon Blair. 2020 has showed me that people are not as secure as they say they are. People are not as secure as they say they are. Not only that, people are looking for something, and yes, they are afraid. Here's some facts. Just like Mr. Blair said, during this pandemic, I think it's about 42 million people lost their jobs. Thousands, millions of businesses have closed. Many of them will not reopen even after the pandemic. But here's the thing that I want you guys to think about. Millions of people right now, you see it all on social media, they're waiting on a second relief check that is already spent.
Yep.
Waiting on a second relief check that's already spent. That's what 2020 has shown me. You ain't got the check yet, but you already know what's going to happen because the households are not in order. And here's the thing, because I was talking to somebody at this particular point, they got caught up in the gifting loom thing. We were sharing an opportunity with them. And of course, I like to talk to people. I really need to know what it is that you need, what it is that you're looking for, to see if I got a valuable opportunity that can actually help you. We're not out here just, hey, signing up people. This may not be for you. So I want to have a candid conversation. This person had over $100,000 in student loan debt, but no strategy. The only thing they said they were going to do was defer. Defer till you die. Keon Blair.
Well, I mean, y'all done said a lot. I mean, I should have some smoke. But 2020 has taught me a lot. And me personally, just going and talking about saving. I mean, what was that, 2019? We went to the Dominican Republic. Before I went to the Dominican Republic, I took myself, my daughters, to get their hair braided, spent over $600. So then here I am sitting around the house in a pandemic, and I have a tender-headed 10-year-old. So what did I do? I got on YouTube and I learned a new skill set, like you said, Alicia, learned a new skill set, and I learned how to braid her hair. Same thing of what we're talking about today as far as generational wealth. Do you know that we just went through a 7-day challenge online that was free, that gave us the blueprint, I should say, to generational wealth? right? So the other thing that 2020 has taught me, not only with saving, and that there are other skill sets out there that allow you to do other things, but when it comes to your job is secure until it isn't secure, right? So today I was supposed to have a Zoom meeting with a lady from Colorado. Didn't know who I was going to meet for the first time, just because she was interested in the business that I'm doing, and she wanted to see if it was a fit for her. Well, she had to end up canceling the Zoom with me because of work. Well, come to find out, she's in unemployment in Colorado, and she said that she has seen there has been a tremendous spike in the unemployment rate over the last couple of weeks. So now she's inundated with work. So don't you think that now that she's seeing this in real time, don't you think she's really, really seeing that a job isn't secure and that she needs to find something else to do? So guess what? Hopefully we'll be talking this weekend, but that's just something that, we really, really, really need to think about is our job really secure? Well, yeah, it's secure until it isn't secure. So guess what? You need to start doing other things. And, like with Ross, he didn't share much, in his story. He did say that he worked for Humana, but he left that job because of them not wanting to reduce his schedule, because they knew that he gave back to the community, that he was, of course, had a partnership with a nonprofit organization. So guess what he decided to do? He left, but then he had his business that he's been doing and that he had been doing and had building upon that allowed him to leave. So he left with pride, because he knew he had something to fall back on.
And here's the thing, many people can't do that. Set yourself up so you can walk with your chest out and your head up, and you can always have that backup plan for your family. That's how we're going to get out of that generational curse. But here's the thing, Thanksgiving is coming up, y'all. And this is what I know. For us as Black Americans, when we get together for Thanksgiving, we playing dominoes, we playing spades, we hee-heeing, we're ha-haing, we happen to see everybody, but there's not a real conversation that's happening around that table about breaking the curses, building legacy, and building generational wealth. I want to know from each of you at this particular moment, due to everything that's happening in the world right now, because we've said there has to be a pivot. There has to be a pivot. And we do know the wealth gap is increasing. The wealth gap is increasing. And what side of that gap are you going to be on? At this particular point, we know the top 3% of the population control over 90% of the wealth. Somebody will get that on the way home. I got a problem with that. I don't know about you guys. What should the conversation sound like around that Thanksgiving table this year, or that Thanksgiving Zoom, since we all should be quarantining? What should those conversations sound like? Rosalind Blair, I'm going to you.
Yes, those conversations, man, around Thanksgiving. First and foremost, the conversations should first start off with being grateful that you are able to even be at that table for Thanksgiving with the family, whether that's family coming in town, if you're not following the quarantine guidelines, or, being able to Zoom, or just your immediate family. Because I say be grateful for that, because I watch CNN. It's 250,000 people that can't sit at that table this year due to just COVID alone. Not any other illnesses or car accidents or anything like that, but just COVID alone. That's 250,000 people that probably was at Thanksgiving last year. That was at Thanksgiving last year. That's not now, that they can't have that conversation with their family. So be grateful first and foremost to the ones that you're able to talk to. The next thing is you gotta be willing to have that conversation about what can we do as for, because it comes down to game planning. We putting our heads together. Everybody, your strength, my weakness, your weakness, my strength. We come together. You good with this? I'm good. Oh, you techie? I ain't really techie. I'm good with people. I ain't really good with people. Whatever the case may be, we got to come together. And yes, we're gonna play the taboo and all that type of stuff that we do when we get together. But at the end of the day, a part of that conversation gotta be had. And do it with the children is right there too, because that's another thing. We try to hide the money conversation from the children. Do it with, don't send nobody in no room. Do it with the children right there. And because what you do, you increase them to 15, 16 years old. They having money conversations now at 15 to 16 instead of materialistic stuff or whatever. So have that conversation about what can we do. We know we haven't did nothing, XYZ. We talked about it in 2014, but we really, okay, it's time to buckle down. What can we do for next Thanksgiving when we do meet? We can see some inroads. We might not be where we want to be yet, but we'll see some inroads. Like, man, I'm glad we had that talk last Thanksgiving because, man, you know, the flower shop really blah, 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 or the whatever it is, you know, and because that's how you're going to get to where you're going to get to. You got to have that conversation. So my thing is, when you round Thanksgiving table, have your laughs, have your kikis and your cacaws, but have that conversation about what we got to do to move this thing forward as a whole, to leave a legacy for that little kid that was just born a couple months ago, or the kids that's going to be born within the next year or two. You know, Michelle just had a little kid. What are we going to leave for the family? And that's the conversation we got to have and stop running from it. Back to you.
Absolutely. We can't run from the conversation, guys. Keon Blair, what does that conversation sound like around that mac and cheese this year?
So for me, like Ron said, you know, you have to have those conversations. And of course, you want to start those conversations with your kids as well. And I was going to say the same thing. Don't tell them to go in the other room, or if you on Zoom, don't tell them, you know, that this for the adults, you don't have to be here. They need to be there as well. But the other thing is when you are having those sessions, I put down here to let people know where you are now. Those are the conversations that we don't want to have with family, because a lot of us want to make it seem like we have it all together.
Hello.
Right? So, you know, you walk up in the house, you know, you dress nice, you got the finest designer purse, you know, you got it all together. So to your family, you have it all together. I made it like I got it all together, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't. I'm working on it. Exactly. You know, so the thing is let your family know where you are and where you're trying to go. And if you are that person that has it together and have the answers to what it is that we're talking about as far as generational wealth, strategize and share it with your people, right? Like I said earlier, you don't want to be the only one in the family that everybody comes to. You know, you want to spread the wealth out amongst the family. Well, so I think that's all I had here as far as my little notes or whatever. But as Ross said too, when he said something about you know, the PS5, the Jordan, all that stuff, we need to start categorizing our wants and our needs. And you know, this is funny, you know, but in our house, I'll tell Ross, you know, I want that, you know, stuff like that, and he'll come to me like, you want that? Or do you need that? And I say, I need it. And he said, no, that's a want. You want that. That's not a need. So sometimes I promise you, if I'm online and I'm shopping, because I like Amazon and I ain't Amazon hauled in a few months, I'll go and I look and say, do I want that or do I need that? And if I feel like it's leading more towards a want, I don't buy it.
That's the mindset shift. That's the mindset shift. And that's where you have to be. And that's what you have to instill into that next generation. And I'm going to say exactly what you guys said. Do not send the kids away this Thanksgiving. We're going to have this conversation around the turkey. No, hey, this is where we are financially, and this is where we're trying to go. This is the 5-year plan. This is the role that you're going to play. But also that older generation, the old guard, guess what? They're getting off shift, and they have to be open and willing to let that new guard say, hey guys, this is where we're taking this family. You've done your part. You're done your part. Let's pass the torch. But they have to be willing to, guess what, lift this younger generation up to say, hey guys, we're going to follow your lead. This is where we're going. We got to talk investments. If it's one investment that we're all going to do as a family, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot, but we have to start somewhere. We gotta start somewhere. And guess what? That older guard may not see the dividends. That may be something they have to pass down, but just know you did it. Don't be stagnant. You have to move your feet. And this is the conversation. We have to talk about the GoFundMe's. We have to talk about the stimulus check. We have to talk about the life insurance. We have to talk about the passive and residual income. And we also have to talk about the mindset shift, right? We have to talk about the mindset shift because many people, because we're going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Yes, we are network marketers. I'm proud of what it is that I do. Network marketing, I didn't find it, it found me. It found me, but here's the thing. Your grandma was a network marketer too because she was selling my grandmama Avon.
The Avon, baby.
Come on, Mr. Blair. Go ahead, close this thing out.
Man, you know, I'm gonna go back to what Roscoe said. You know, anytime we are able to sit down at a table and break bread, we first must talk about how grateful we are, especially during these times now. There's a lot of families that won't get to sit down with those loved ones that they cherish so deeply. Outside of that, you know, that conversation must shift. We must pivot. And we need to talk about, you know, financial stability. That's going to be a must. We need to talk about assets. You know, we need to talk about, you know, the generational wealth, you know, what we're speaking about now. We need to talk about giving 100%. We need to even talk about let's stop being slaves to bills. And what do I mean by that is that a lot of times people don't understand that, you know, the difference between 99% and 100% is not 1%. It's honestly 100%. In order to get 100% out of anything, you got to give 100%. So let's go and let's do something different. We got to have these different conversations, as each of you has stated. Each of you are right, and we have to, you know, take it amongst ourselves to be the catalyst of those individuals who are going to start the conversation. Again, let's don't put up the card table. Matter of fact, don't even bring the cards to the house. Why? Because where we are today, we can't afford to play cards. We can't afford to sit here and play dominoes. We need to simply talk about where's the family going in the next 90 days. And I want people to understand, I didn't say 9 months. I didn't say 9 years. What are we going to do that's going to take the family to higher heights in 90 days? And if you look at it in that aspect, we're talking about collapsing time frames, because right now everybody has to work a little bit harder to get the things that the family needs. And I'm saying the family, right? And when I say we're slaves to bills, I want people to understand most people wouldn't go to work if you did not have to pay a bill. Think about it. Just for that, ask yourself, would I go to work if I didn't have to pay a bill? No.
That's true.
And think about this. During this pandemic, Roscoe, just think about this. During the pandemic, when they were telling people, look, you don't have to go to work, and we're going to keep everybody isolated at home for 14 days or whatever, most people shut down. They didn't want to go stay at home for 14 days. And it's not the fact that people didn't want to stay at home for 14 days. It's the fact that people didn't want to stay at home for 14 days because they were looking at the fact saying the bills are still going to come. They didn't shut the bills off as well. And I don't have any money to pay the bills that's going to continue coming. Everybody is looking for a way to get off work every single day, whether it's PTO or whatever it is. So the conversations have to shift. And it starts with the individuals. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am that individual that's going to change the conversation. I am the individual that's going to help my family get to a new place in 90 days. I am the individual that's going to help other families along the way. This is what it should look like. Outside of, again, being grateful that we are able to sit at a table, we have to shift. And I'm going to use that word, Ms. Alicia, that you use. We got to pivot. We have to pivot. Right now, it is detrimental that we do some things different. I love the fact that each of you are looking at it in a different point of view, but it's all leading to the exact same place. The question is, who are going to be the people that's going to lead their families? Or who are going to be the people that's sitting back saying, I'm going to continue wishing for it, but it's going to be people like you guys that's saying, I'm going to work for it. I want to be connected to those individuals that's in my family that's going to work for it because I understand what's at stake. Miss Alicia, back to you.
Somebody got to be the Moses for their family. What did Moses say? Let my people go. Somebody got to pick up. Somebody got to pick it up and say, I'm going to be the Moses for my family. Here's one thing that I noted. Everybody is one crisis away from total financial disaster. That's one thing that this whole situation in 2020 has shown me, I'm gonna say it again, everybody is one crisis away from total financial disaster, because people could not go 14 days, 30 days without a check. We were out here ready to risk it all, right? Leg and limb. No, I got to get to work. I ain't got no more PTO. So right now we got to put some things in place to make sure if this happens again, guess what? During my lifetime, we're absolutely prepared. I am so grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being on this panel. Hopefully you've gotten value from everything that was stated today. If you got value, I want you to go ahead and drop value in the comments. But not only that, Keon Blair, if people need a meeting with you, if they want to talk with you about options for that passive income, that residual income, they want to talk to you about how you've been able to clear that $14,000 in debt that you skedaddled on by very, very quickly, how can they get in touch with you?
Hey, look, one thing I was going to say is my job allows me to pay my bills, but what I do in my business is going to allow me to live, okay? So how you can get in contact with me, I am Keon Blair on Facebook as well as IG, Instagram. So it's instagram.com/Keon Blair. You also can check out my Smart Bio link that's on both of my bios on Facebook and Instagram, or smart.bio/K Blair. That's how you can get in contact with me there, or you can DM me, inbox me, whatever is your method of how you say DM, inbox, or whatever, here on Messenger as well as on Instagram. And as far as my Smart Bio, if you are someone that's looking for something and you want to see if what I do is a fit for you, you can always set up a 15 or 30 minute talk with me via phone, or we can Zoom, just so if you're somebody that really doesn't know me, we can get to know each other face to face. Go ahead and click my Smart Bio link and you can schedule some time with me.
Rastamon Blair, how can the people get in touch with you, brother?
Oh, most definitely. They definitely get in touch with me right here on Facebook as well, Rastamon Blair. You definitely can get in contact with me on Instagram. That is on Rastamon. Rastamon is RAHSTAMOND. I'm the only one you will see on there. So Rastamon Blair on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm Roscoe Blair as well. My Smart Bio is attached to my Instagram as well. Of course, my Smart Bio is smart.bio/RJ Blair. Again, that's smart.bio/RJ Blair. So you definitely can contact me if anything that you've heard today, you want to find out how we getting rid of debt, how we're trying to move the needle and pivot, and you ready to pivot as well. Definitely you can set up a consultation, 15, 30-minute consultation, and we definitely can get that information for you.
Thank you.
Back to you,
Alicia. Sir, Remus Blair, how can the people get in contact with you, sir?
Man. I want to put this disclaimer out there first and foremost, Miss Alicia. As for individuals that's on this platform, we don't know it all and we don't have it all as of right now. But I'd be damned if we're not going to go after it all. I want people to understand that. Right now we're in a place that we can share, we can help people, and this is what we're doing. But to reach me, I'm all over social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram at Remus Blair Senior. But the smartest way to get in touch with me, guys, is my Smart Bio. It's going to be smart.bio/Remus Blair Senior. Guys, I would love for you to reach out on that link. It's actually on my Instagram and my Facebook profile, so that you can click the link. And what you can do, guys, you can schedule time to speak with me directly. We can set something up, because I want to help some people. And it's all about a conversation. All conversations are business conversations. The thing is, you just have to be the individual that's listening. The question is, do you have what the person needs and what they're speaking about? And I just want to be a listening ear, whether it's in business with me or it's in business with something. You need to put yourself in place with something. And I want to be that person that can help you, direct you to where it is that you need to be, you and your family. So again, I'm looking forward to speaking to anybody that has the guts to be great. Meaning that if you're willing to go out, go do the things that people or look down on you upon, saying you shouldn't do those things. If you're looking to just be great, you got the guts to be great. I'm willing to have a conversation with you. Are you willing to have a conversation with me? Miss Alicia, again, I want to salute you. I want to salute Keon. I want to salute Roscoe for being on this platform, because again, we know that it's going to be somebody that's going to hit this thing live. It's going to be somebody that's going to hit this thing on replay. whether it's all of us that says something that's going to touch somebody or one of us. We know that we're going to touch somebody. And I want to salute you guys for, again, taking this challenge so that we can help somebody, in these trying times. So again, I salute each of you. And again, back to you, Miss Alicia.
Absolutely, guys. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can find me at Alicia D on IG as well as Facebook. You can find me at the She Bees Hustle Factory on Facebook. You can definitely search that. But you can also text info to 210-660-2308. That is the word info to 210-660-2308. And you can find me at Smart Bio, guys. That is smart.bio/Alicia B. Dion. That's Dionne. You can set up a 15, 30-minute consult. I'm more than happy to sit and talk with you. We can go ahead and beast it out. You can see if what I have is definitely a fit for you. I want to thank all of these wonderful people for being on this platform with me today. Any last minute words, right, from the fam? Hey, family! Any last minute words before we jump off this thing tonight?
For myself, nothing really. Everything been great, man. Like Remy said, I dare you to want to be great. I dare you to want to be great. And one thing I kept in that I just want to say that you talked about earlier about as far as generational wealth, what it can do for you. I thought about what generational wealth. You talked about the being able to change laws and the policing and make things move. And I thought about all the calls that was made out from, the Futures and the TIs, and even Jay-Z, somebody that make a lot of money. But Robert Kraft made one phone call and Meek Mills was home the next week. That's what generational wealth can do for you.
Hello.
That's what generational wealth, and I'll leave you guys with that.
Absolutely. Any last minute words, guys?
Well, no, not after that.
Well, we're good, family. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you got value, I want you to hashtag value. Go ahead and share this info with somebody who can use it. Tag your families, tag your friends. If you care about somebody, if 2020 has put a whooping on you, I know it's put a whipping on people's bank accounts. Guys, I'm gonna say it put a whipping on mine. I'm gonna be very, very transparent. We gotta make up some stuff, right? We got some things that we got to go get it and make it up. Guys, if it's put a whipping on you, if you don't want this to be, if you don't want to repeat of 2020, if you want to go ahead and put some things in place, if you really want to build generational wealth for yourself instead of watching it on TV, share this with somebody. Have these conversations with your family. Go ahead, contact these people on their smart bios. Text Alicia. Find the She Bees Hustle Factory, guys. We are serious about this thing. This is not a game. This is not a game. They say the revolution will be televised. Guess what? It is televised at this particular point in time. We are on live. We're going ham. 2021 is going to be a year to remember, guys. We're going to recoup everything that was lost.
Right.
Y'all know y'all can't stop this train when it's together. And guess what? This flock is in flight and we all in formation.
Hello.
Boo. Boo. Right? So I'm out of here. We'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you guys so much. Bye, fam.
Thank you. Appreciate it.